Good morning. Today is Wednesday, October 30th, 2021. The Amazon rainforest is losing 200,000 acres a day. Soon it will be too late. Since 1988, humans have destroyed an area of rainforest only the size of Texas and New Mexico combined. Shortly before his 44th birthday in December 1988, the Brazilian rubber typers and environmental activist Chico Mendes predicted he would not live until Christmas. At first, he said, I thought I was fighting to save rubber trees. Then I thought I was fighting to save the Amazon rainforest. Now I realized I am fighting for humanity. Mendes had received death threats for years. The threats escalated when an aggressive ranger laid claim to a nearby forest reserve, where he intended to burn and level trees to create pasture for cattle. The rangers hired gunmen to prowl around the man's neighborhood. Mendes publicly opposed the hunter and continued to advocate for the human rights of the indigenous peoples of the Amazon basin, saying Brazil must save the most biodiverse forest in the world. Destroy it, he said, and we, the human race, will end up destroying ourselves. 3 days before Christmas 1988, Mendes was shot dead by the Rangers soon. It stunned the world. The National Council of Rubber Tapers, reeling from the assassination, made it clear that the Amazon be preserved for the whole Brazilian nation as part of the identity and the self-esteem. The council added, this alliance of the peoples of the forest bring together Indians, rubber tapers, and riverbank communities. Embrace our efforts to protect and preserve his immense biofriendly life system that involves our forests, rivers, lakes, and springs, the source of the whole of our wealth and the basis of our cultures and traditions. Since Mendes' murder, nearly 1 million kilometers of the Amazon, an area roughly the size of Texas and New Mexico combined, have been destroyed primarily in Brazil, but also in Peru, Colombia, Venezuela, Suriname, Guyana, and the French Guiana. That equates to an average of the sum to 200,000 acres every day, or 40 football fields per minute. In Brazil alone, home to the greatest expanse of forest, the rate of loss has increased by more than 30%. The Amazon historically a great carbon absorber, since trees take in carbon dioxide and release oxygen. Now releases more carbon than it stores, which add to rather helps to reduce our global climate crisis. Deforestation rates increased slightly for 2004 to 2012, but since then they are back on the rise, especially in the past couple of years since Jair Bolsonaro became president of Brazil. In 2018, as Bolsonaro campaigned as a patriotic man of the people, scientists predicted that once the Amazon lost more than 25% of the history cover, and would become a dry ecosystem, all because deforestation changed weather patterns due to how trees respire, which in turn reduces rainfall. Furthermore, the forest becomes fragmented. Areas surrounded by pasture land will lose species and the process biogeographers call ecosystem decay. In short, the Amazon is dying. Entire genetic libraries and the symphonies of the species, trees, birds, reptiles, insects, and more, eons in the making, fine-tuned by natural selection, are being wiped out to make room for methane building cows. Bolsonaro is a powerful supporter of agribusiness. The Washington Post reported before he won he won the presidency, and he is likely to favor profits over preservation. He has shifted as foreign pressures to safeguard the Amazon rainforest, and he served notice to the national non-profit groups such as the World Wildlife Fund that he will not tolerate their agendas in Brazil. He has also come out strongly against lands reserved for indigenous tribes. Writing in the Mongabay and Science website, Thais Borges and Sue Branford reported in May 2019 that a new manifesto by for Brazil's past environment ministers warned that Bolsonaro's draconian environmental policies, including the weakening of environmental licensing, plus sweeping illegal deforestation and amnesties, could cause great economic harm to Brazil. Robert Walker, a quantitative geographer at the University of Florida Center for Latin American Studies, has said that unless something unprecedented happens, he predicted that the greatest rainforest on Earth would be wiped out by 2064. If so, it will have taken local opportunists armed with chainsaw, bulldozers, and the chance to land, little more than a century to destroy a rainforest 10 million years old and the composed of some 390 tonal of tree. Perhaps then in the hot, brutal, and not too distant future, when historians chronicle humanity's destructions of his own home planet, the killing of the Amazon, Iran, and or near the top, and other reasons why it had to be done. Suppressing at the time will seem tried until stripped away. Two fundamental cases remain: ignorance and greed. Enter Pope Francis, who is not afraid to set the precedent, together with the Archbishop of Canterbury, Just Welp, and the Orthodox Ecumenical Patriarch Patrick Bartholomew. The world's three the man Christian leader recently used a joint message for the protection of creation, asking Christians everywhere to listen to the cry of the earth. This includes everyone, rich and poor, old and young, who must examine their behavior and places meaningful sacrifice for the sake of the earth which God has given us. The three also implored the world leaders scheduled to attend to a United Nations Climate Conference COP26 in Glasgow, which will begin on 31 October, to make courageous and necessary choices. If his health permits, Francis will take part in the Glasgow conference, whereby also plans to attend, hopefully soon thereafter. Francis, who is the first pope in history from the Americas, would visit Brazil, the world's most populous Roman Catholic country. He would walk into the Amazon, bless the forest, what remains of it, and ask the world to help turn the tide on the Brazil's reckless policies. Perhaps he could give an homily on Revelation 6:7-3. Do not harm the earth, the sea, or the trees. On that inspires South Americans to improve their livelihoods while also protecting their ancient forests, the lungs of the earth. Finally, Francis could appeal to his church, and he would richest nations to spend some of their vast wealth to help re-educate, and employ the farmers, ranchers, squatters, and the business folks of the Amazon. Soon after he was elected the Pope in 2013, Jorge Mario Bergoglio of Buenos Aires took his papal title after San Francis of Assisi of Italy, the patron saint of the animals and the birds, who, like Chico Mendes, died at 4 and spoke through the power. Henry David Thoreau, the New England transcendentalist, who wrote Voting and Civil Disobedience, also died at 44, and he did the same. It's not how much time we have or money, it's what we do with it. Let your life be a counter friction to stop the machine. Thoreau wrote. He added that whenever he walked in the woods, he came out taller than the trees. Brazil takes its name from a tree, the Pau Brasilia, so given by Portuguese explorer who prized it for its red dayas. Known today as Pernambuco or Brazil wood, is listed as endangered species and the colorful planted and managed and selectively harvested by skilled men who, with machetes hanging from their rope belts, move through the forest like water, and up the blast each tree before cutting the wood that will be carved into exquisite bones for violin, violas, and the cellos. It's said that the people of Brazil, no matter how difficult their situation, will smile rather than cry because they love life. It's also been said that the future of Brazil is in the future of the world. Chico Mendes was right. Save the Amazon and we just might save ourselves.
A nossa Amazônia, nós faremos sim, mais do que o coração do Brasil. Seremos a alma econômica do nosso Brasil.
It's moving fast. It's not just a ground fire, it's reaching up into the canopy here too, and just scorching everything.
Não tem mais controle agora, só quando Deus manda a chuva que aí.
Is this usual amount of fire that you see?
Não, para mim não é normal. Para mim é um assassinato.
Are you worried about the illicit activity that happens here?
Aí é onde chama a terra sem lei, é nesse caso aí. Que a pessoa não pode fazer nada. Que é a lei do mais forte.
E queremos fazer o casamento do meio ambiente com o progresso.
Pará, Brazil. Parts of the rainforest in this region have lost so much tree cover, it hardly looks like the Amazon. I'm on a highway called the BR-163. In August, this corridor for soy and beef exports lit up like an inferno. Many of the fires were started on protected lands, on a single day, a so-called Day of Fire. So I take the highway here to a protected reserve that saw major burning on that day. It's called the Jamanchim National Forest. This year, the Jamanchim lost over 45 square miles of tree cover. That's an area twice the size of Manhattan. It's the worst deforestation of all protected areas in Brazil. But many people who live here see this as progress. And it has a lot to do with beef. Brazil is the world's largest exporter of beef. About half of the cattle are raised on pasture that used to be rainforest. And demand is growing. I'm visiting an annual barbecue and auction near the Jamanchim. But it's not your typical backyard get-together. Some landowners and ranchers here brazenly defy environmental laws. Last year, a government report linked this man, a union leader, to land-grabbing schemes. This woman, head of a national association, was fined for burning 350 acres of rainforest. This man, a local mayor, was caught destroying over 700 acres of virgin rainforest inside the Jamanchim Reserve. They all deny wrongdoing.
O meu município, de lado, é a aldeia indígena e de outro lado é a frona.
What producers here want is to privatize the reserves, and there's hostility here towards anyone who tries to stop them.
Precisamos acabar com essas ONGs que atrapalham, freiam e atrasam o progresso do nosso Pará.
Se fosse nos Estados Unidos, eles seriam condecorados como desbravadores, guerreiros, bravos, mas não.
Nós não aguenta mais. Chega de conversa, meu secretário. Leve as minhas palavras ao presidente Bolsonaro e faça alguma coisa por essa região, meu secretário. Nos ajude, nós acreditamos em vocês.
The producers are petitioning an important government official, Naban Garcia, appointed by President Bolsonaro to open up the Amazon for development.
Quando os senhores e as senhoras verem aqui uma ONG, uma organização não governamental, trabalhando contra o Brasil, denuncie. Não vamos mais aceitar nenhuma organização não governamental que venha aqui interferir na nossa soberania, que venha aqui conspirar contra o Brasil.
There's no question which side Mr. Garcia is on. He's a rancher and farmer himself.
According to your own government studies, many of the people in some of these protected areas came in after the park was created. They're in there illegally, according to your own government standards right now.
Não. Isso é mais uma farsa, é mais uma mentira pregada por aqueles que não querem o bem do Brasil, pelos inimigos do Brasil. Isso é mentira.
Part of the reason we're here is because of all the fires, right? No? No, okay.
To be clear, deforesting land without authorization is illegal in Brazil. It's seized land that's logged, burned, and converted, mostly for grazing. We're talking millions of acres, billions of dollars, and a web of criminal activity. But at the core of the issue is what turns out to be a pretty complicated question. Who does all this land belong to? I catch up with Luiz Helfenstein, who I'd met at the barbecue.
Pode filmar o que vocês quiserem aí, tudo. Pode mostrar tudo aqui, não tem segredo. Tem até as caturitas que comem nossas frutas aqui.
His ranch is right at the edge of the Jamanchim National Forest.
Aqui eu estou fazendo uma mangueira nova, lá embaixo, naquele barracão.
He considers himself one of the pioneers here.
When you started, is this the first settlement that you built?
Aqui é essa gleba toda. Eu sou filho de família grande. Aí meu pai tinha 8 hectares de terras, uma família de 10 filhos. E nós passamos muito aperto. Aí surgiu essa oportunidade que tinha essa área de terra aqui, que o governo colocou à disposição, como na época. Agora aqui não era reserva. Aqui era uma área que o governo queria que ocupasse.
Luiz came here back in the 80s. He was handed 4,000 acres of rainforest, part of a government plan to develop the Amazon.
Você podia fazer o projeto de manejo. Desses nossos vizinhos aqui, tinham 46 projetos de manejo. Eu separei umas fotos aqui, mais de fotos mais antigas, quando a gente começou a vir para cá na época. Isso aqui faz 30 anos.
That's the BR 163, November 1994.
Then, the political winds shifted and preservation became the priority. In 2006, the government established the Jamanchim National Forest, taking back most of the land previously given to Luiz and other producers.
Chega o Ibama, rufa o pau, porque você está irregular. Não, mas você não é dono da terra.
They felt cheated, and some have responded by grabbing and burning protected land. I take a ride with Agamenon de Silva Meneses.
Is this your car?
He's the head of a union for ranchers out here.
A Amazônia é nossa. E a gente vai preservar a Amazônia, mas preservar a Amazônia no viés da necessidade nossa, não da necessidade do mundo. Nunca ninguém se preocupou com a pessoa que está aqui, o ser humano que está aqui, o pai de família que está aqui. Isso que revolta, né? A desobediência civil é nesse caso.
Was the Day of Fire an example of that disobedience?
Não. Esse pedido de fogo não existiu. Não existiu.
But satellite data confirms there was an unusual spike in the number of fires on August 10th. Local reporters wrote about this so-called Day of Fire, exposing a coordinated plan among ranchers and land grabbers to burn newly cleared forest.
Bom dia.
One of those reporters, Adesio Peran, soon found his face on a wanted poster.
Eles começaram a me ameaçar para tirar a matéria, que me pressionaram muito para retirar a matéria.
Did you ever receive death threats or threats to your personal safety?
Recebi, sim.
That type of intimidation helps explain how so much criminal activity can go unpunished. Last year, 30 environmental activists were murdered in Brazil. I follow a group of firefighters with one of Brazil's environmental agencies into a biological reserve. The agency has been attacked by locals and their authority undermined by Bolsonaro's government. None of the men will speak on the record. So this is what the effort to protect the forest here now looks like. A handful of men carving control lines and putting out brush fires with a leaf blower. It takes a bird's eye view to capture the magnitude of what they're up against. This fire is nearly 4 miles long. According to Brazilian satellites, more than a soccer field worth of rainforest is cleared every minute. I'm back on the road, driving off federal land, when I see these two trucks. They pull onto the BR 163 highway with loads of fresh logs.
You must to save the Amazon rainforest. The Amazon is our home. This planet is our home. There isn't another planet as the Earth when we can to live. There isn't. So you must to do all for the save our planet, the save our forest. Unfortunately, right now the Brazilian president is the stupid and the great stupid, the worst president the Brazilian history. But I hope in the next year, the next election, the situation can to change. But we must to save the Amazon, to save our planet, our home. Thank you very much for watching my new video. Subscribe, give a like. See you with a new video. Okay? Thank you very much. Have a great day.